What is the biggest secret you've kept from your parents? I recorded Gundam Wing Endless Waltz over my sister's high school graduation video. It's been about 18 years, but I still feel bad. I met the guy my mom told me was my real father. We did a DNA test and there is a 0% chance. He even took me on a whitewater rafting trip with his wife and son. I've never told her. Being sexually abused by my cousins, which my mom would leave me at their house to go to the casino a lot as a kid. When I was at Walmart with my mom, and I stole 2 of those big cartons full of Pokemon cards. Took the cards and stuffed them in my back pocket. I planned the whole robbery a week before. I was the best robber at 9. My mom doesn't know I've been arrested twice, one time with my dad. Stole money for weed and regret it to this day. My lazy ass should have just gotten a job instead. I am fully aware of my father's extramarital affairs. I was heavily addicted to morphine for my entire time at university. My location for the past 25 years. Shit, I came here to say I snuck out once or twice, but y'all went through some tough shit. When I was around 14, I overheard my parents arguing. My mom was yelling at my dad about some porn searches on the computer. It was really me that was going on the computer in their room and watching porn. He kept denying it and she kept calling him a liar. He slept in the guest bedroom for a month after that fight. When I was in the 7th grade, one started to get into porn and my favorite it, for some reason, was guy-on-guy stuff even though I'm a girl. Anyways, I didn't know how anything but YouTube worked, so I ended up downloading like 3 gay porn videos on my phone, and I had an Android, so when I deleted the videos, the download history was still in my phone. For some reason, my mom took my phone and went through it and sat me down and asked me about the porn she found on it. But for some more context, I had to keep my phone in the living room at night and could only have it during the day. Now I'm not proud of this, but I'm a good liar. But in this situation I didn't have to do much lying, because as soon as I started crying and saying I didn't do it, she immediately believed me and blamed it on my stepdad, saying that she had a suspicion that he was gay through their whole relationship and all that. After that, she never confronted him and just continued to stay with him even though she thought he was gay, and that's when I realized my mom was a gold digger. Parents are, and raised me to be, staunch Mormon. For those unfamiliar, Mormons believe their church is the only true church on earth. I don't believe it's true. They think I still go, but it's infrequent at best. Edit. A lot of people are commenting, don't all religions think they're true? Yes, but there's a difference. Mormons believe themselves to be Christians, but don't believe that's enough. Part of being the one true church means that you have to be baptized in this church. Proper authority. This church has living prophets. You have to get married in a temple to get to the top step of heaven, and so forth. Stepping away from the church, even within the realm of Christianity, still means damnation to Mormons. That I was molested as a kid and suicidal for years afterwards. They knew I had a nervous breakdown freshman year of high school and was suicidal at 15. They didn't know I'd been messed up since I was 10. I was accused of rape when I was 17. Legally an adult in Texas, so they didn't have to tell them. And a detective took my phone for the school day to verify the texts proving the encounter was consensual were real. Really weird time in my life, having to deal with the fallout at school and not telling them the truth. I used to watch South Park when they thought I was sleeping. My depression and the fact I nearly failed out of first year because I couldn't handle university. I have been keeping the fact I was sexually assaulted at 13 a secret for years. My dad traded him being killed for sexual favors with me for an extended period of time when I was a teen. I told my mom about some of the smaller stuff and she didn't believe me, so I didn't even try. My husband is supportive. That my sister is gay. She openly admits it to everyone. Except for my family. She opened up to me. Eventually, but both my parents and older brother don't know about it. Since then we've become a lot closer than when we were kids. I lost my virginity to a stranger on Craigslist back when they still had a personal section. She was 10 years older than me, had a kid about half my age, divorced, and lived in a town about a 2-hour drive away. I didn't care. I was 17 and horny. I snuck out after they went to bed, drove 2 hours there, met her at an agreed-upon location, had actually not bad sex in the back of her minivan, thanked her for the experience, drove back home, and got back inside and in my bed all before morning. In hindsight, I was stupid and reckless at quite a few steps of this whole scenario. And lucky she was who she said she was and not really a man, or an ex-murderer or with. But it actually turned out alright. This was over a decade ago now and I've still never told them, even if there's not much they could do about it anymore. Never told my friends or classmates either. Not that they would have believed me anyways. Asterisk, let this be a lesson, guys. You're a lot less likely to get caught doing stuff if you can resist the urge to brag about it. Asterisk. My parents divorced when I was 8. My dad left, and I never saw much of him this year, among other issues. He came out to my brother and I before they divorced. I never told my mother that he was gay. My father passed in 2011. My mother in 2017. I think she had an idea, but we never discussed it. He was born in 1945, before such a thing was accepted and attempted at passing. My mom always wondered why I didn't have friends in high school, and it is because we were broken. I knew she was struggling, so I refused anytime people wanted to do things so I wouldn't ask for money. Then in my last year of high school I worked full-time, so I had no time to make friends. I was a high-functioning depressed alcoholic for my whole college life. I make more money than I let on. My parents have and will always be the "I take care of you all your life, time for you to pay it back" type of parent. Except there is no end to this debt, so I hide money from them so they can't take advantage of me. When I was 17 I rented not another teen movie, watched it and returned it without them finding out. They wouldn't have approved. I actually did know why my laptop wasn't working. I spilled a fair bit of Jack Daniels on it. I just pay escorts to show as my girlfriend, so they would stop telling their friends to hook me up with their daughters. Every gathering they would show up, meet everyone, and always have to leave early. I pay by hour. I got someone pregnant and I'm pretty sure she kept the baby and didn't tell me that I'm diagnosed bipolar. My dad doesn't know that I was suspended due to grades for a semester in college. That I used to sneak out of the house from our second-story bathroom window to go nightclubbing with my friends after my parents went to bed. That I don't love them this year. I care about them in the way I care for a hurt stranger, but I won't be crying when they die, except for over the stress of handling the funeral and finding a place for their kid and animals to live. Edit some explanation. Also, thanks for all the positive words and glad it helped some of you. Ran debts in my name and never helped me out. For example, I was homeless twice in my mid-20s, but I couldn't stay with them apparently. At 18 I still didn't have a license because I couldn't borrow their car. Eventually saved up and paid for lessons. Not that I could afford a car until a few years later. At 20, had a job interview at a well-paying company, asked if they could drive me an hour to get there, or let me drive. They agreed, and day of going they never showed up. Wrecked my ability when I lived with them from 16 to 22 by going off almost every week, leaving me with the kid and animals. A lot more that I'm not going to talk about. Second edit. Yes, the kid is related to me and would be a sibling, and no, we don't have a good relationship, and no, not all his fault. But for my mental health, I won't associate with him. I will help him out as far as setting him up. But that's it. That I thought I have mental problems, but I keep pushing it down and trying to fix it myself. Because I think that people will think it's for the attention, and it makes me question myself, but I try to be normal. I'm gonna use an alt for this one. I planned on ending my life on a school trip overseas. I was really having a bad time and my head was filled with such bad thoughts and I wanted them to go away. I didn't do it. As you can tell, I didn't want to ruin the trip for everyone else. I couldn't imagine telling my parents. Only one person knows. But you guys know now, lol. My parents really dislike gay and bi people. You probably know where this is going. Edit. Yo, this is the most karma I've ever had. To clarify, it's not religion. It's just that they aren't useful because they can't reproduce. My sexual assault. My mom's knows now, but it was a good 15 years after the fact. That I'm a lesbian. And that friend, who I don't invite home anymore, is actually my ex. That I'm bi and I was dating women. One came on vacation with us and stayed in my room this year. The fact that I have been diagnosed with depression since I was 15 and looked for help after 3 suicide attempts. I think my so is the only person who knows it. And Reddit now. That I'm not going to finish my degree and I paid off my student loans. My degree was pointless and I don't do well in school due to my ADHD. My dad constantly asks when I'm going to finish and stop bartending. I just say soon. I hate disappointing them because my dad gets very proud of my sister and I with our accomplishments. But truth be told, I'm quite content with the $60K I make bartending. My degree would have only pulled $35K starting. I know that my mom's cheating on my dad. He doesn't know it's happening, to my knowledge. And she doesn't know that I know. That I'm highly involved in the BDSM community in my city. Even tend bar at our local fetish club a couple times a month. My fiancé and I are super vanilla passing, which is lucky. They're happier not knowing. I was molested in our home for years when I was a child by the person they know I hate most. This is also the person they would least suspect, and I doubt my parents would even believe me. This is all despite the fact that my mom walked in on one of the times I was actively being molested and held a conversation with us while it happened. I was horrified because I was in danger. When I was 12, I saw emails on my mom's iPod Touch. The emails were very suggestive and were between my mother and another man. I never told my dad that I saw those emails. I wish I did, because it turned out that she was cheating on him this year. This is the first time I've mentioned it to anyone. It feels good to get it off my chest. Deleted. I kept the truth of how I got my big ass scar on my forearm secret for like 15 years.